The NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofton corner the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
Too many words I left to say, so they get left behind.
Wow. Look at that, Jack. That's good stuff out of you. We are coming to you live, and we have our intro back. Back by popular demand. Thank you, Jack, for putting that together. Wonderful work as always. We had to time it up. We're working on those things, but we're having a blast. Adam Schefter is joining us today. We're doing the pre-recording in the morning, interviewing Adam in the afternoon before I head out to LA early tomorrow morning to be a part of the NFL broadcast media workshop. Really excited for that. Honored to be a part of it. It's about 15 to 20 players, former, current, who are going out there to learn the tricks of the trade in the broadcasting world in the NFL and perform, calling games on TV, calling games on the radio. It's a tremendous opportunity to work with the best professionals in our NFL landscape, producers, announcers, play-by-play, color people, hosts of shows all throughout the day will be joining us those 3 days to teach us, evaluate us. It's a tremendous opportunity. So lots going on in the world we're going to get into today. LSU wins a national championship by double digits. Tons of drama with that. Some people think there's some poor sportsmanship. I say no, it was both ways. Can't call one way or the other. Got to call it both ways. Going to get into 3:30 start for a national championship game. That's ridiculous. We're going to call out whoever's responsible for that. Of course, we're going to get into the bar of the week. And the Premier League turning down Netflix. We're going to get into that too. But before I do, got to introduce my man here, Jack Connell. How you doing, buddy?
Doing splendid. Nice little relaxing weekend.
Really? What'd you do, bud?
Not a thing. That's the best part about it.
And you picked the Shaquille O'Neal jersey to put on today when you woke up in the morning for class. Can you explain why? What was your thought? Did the purple catch your eye?
It was, to be honest, it's just because it's one of my newer jerseys and I haven't got a chance to wear it much. And I was like, I'll wear this. I haven't got a chance to show it off that much. I'm a big fan of how it looks and everything. Nice little thrift store find. But yeah, not too crazy thought process behind it.
Well, there's not a crazy thought process when you're looking to get somebody something awesome for Easter. It's not too late. Order right now, fudgekitchens.com. The best fudge in the world, the best sweet treats in the world. I already got the fudge bunny. Gave a couple of those out, sending those to people across the country. Check them out, located all up and down the Jersey Shore. But again, they ship across the country. So mix it up this year. Don't buy your typical bag of chocolate. You're going to scatter eggs that are made, years ago and wrapped. These are made fresh, weekly, daily fudge. Check it out, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. I'm bringing some out to LA, Jack. Why not? And now I'll be like the Easter bunny out there. Just you get a fudge, you get a fudge, you get a fudge. So fudgekitchens.com. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Adam Schefter joining us today. Really excited to have Adam on. He had an amazing last podcast. For those that haven't had a chance to listen to or may not follow Adam's show, check it out because it is first class. And this episode, the one he previously did, Foster Moreau, came on the show. He was diagnosed with cancer. People that did not see that went to New Orleans for a physical as a free agent. He had cancer. Great catch by the New Orleans training staff, medical staff. Also talked about a baby on his flight to LA. A baby on his flight to the owners' meetings in Arizona, almost dying in emergency landing, and a flight attendant saved the baby's life. So it's an amazing episode, Adam's last episode. Check it out. Lots to talk about on the show today. But before we get into all that, the Premier League, the league that I've just absolutely loved diving into now post-COVID, during COVID got me into it. Per World Soccer Talk, the Premier League has opted not to work with Netflix on a documentary series. The league officials rejected the move because the streaming service was not offering enough money. The Times has claimed that Netflix offered English top flight soccer league about $18.5 million for 3 years, so 6.2 per season. If those have seen Drive to Survive, amazing about F1. Amazing show. Whether you're into racing or not, I've never watched a race in my life. Now I'm dialed into qualifying, racing, etc. Amazing show. Full Swing, Netflix, another great show. So Premier League turns it down. And honestly, I don't know if I blame them. Their product is massive. It is worldwide. Great. I get the racing culture is also big, but the Premier League is history, passion, huge American market now. And Netflix definitely should have went. I believe it's worth way more. I don't really know the finances of the whole situation. 6.2 a year doesn't sound like a ton of money to me because the viewership is through the roof for that type of thing. So, I mean, Jack, have you gotten the Premier League a little bit? You know, I'm a huge Tottenham Hotspurs fan.
I really haven't gotten to it much, but I am completely on the Premier League side. This is the first I've heard of it. So what you're saying, based off what you heard, is you said $6.2 million for the entire Premier League? Per year?
The Premier League, they would feature a complete Netflix documentary on all the teams behind the scenes. These are massive. These aren't just like football players from Philly or New Orleans or from San Diego. These are people from Richarlison on Tottenham is from Brazil. He's one of the biggest names in Brazil. Harry Kane, he's the leading goal scorer in Tottenham history. He's a leading goal scorer in English soccer history as of last weekend. They're going to have up close and personal with him. It's going to be way more than 6.2 million if you're going to feature all these massive brands. Manchester City, Liverpool, huge. So, and I've been watching the Wrexham series, which has been amazing. Ryan Reynolds and the gentleman from Always Sunny in Philadelphia bought the team from nothing, and they're turning it into something. That's been really cool too. So these docuseries have been awesome. There's a reason why they turned it down, though, right? It's not about money.
You think at the end of the day, what? So 6 million amongst 20 teams. That's what, like 300,000 a piece per team, and they bring up a player, like each player's getting like $5,000. I was at Villanova, had like a little symposium for the sports business program, and Carl Nassib, who was played for the Buccaneers this past year, he talked about his time of Hard Knocks when he was on the Browns. He said it was the worst thing. He said he never had a second apiece. Like, it was just the worst possible thing. And you have to think, like, I don't think the NFL players got any compensation for Hard Knocks, but you're talking about a way in-depth documentary for like $5,000.
And these guys don't need their brands to be any bigger. They're already big enough. They're in the Premier League. Now, I'm not saying you can't get a bigger brand and you can't work on it. And for an NFL player, the guys like me that have like 6,000 followers, Carl's got way more than that. But that was big for Carl's brand too. So Carl went from just a second-round pick, I think he was, out of Penn State, Cleveland Browns, great player in college. I played against him a bunch. To now where, if you think about it, it's really blew him up. Like, he's now talking about it 8 years later at a symposium. So I think you speak out of both sides of your mouth a little bit. Like, yeah, it's annoying, and you don't have a breath of fresh air. Now, I've heard from players too that Hard Knocks was not a problem, and it's not that big of a deal. So maybe COVID helped that situation and may put up some walls a little bit where they couldn't be in as much. More like cameras are just in a room. They're not as in your face with stuff. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. Again, these brands in the Premier League are massive. They're way bigger than these NFL brands, in my opinion, because you're worldwide. You're not just in the U.S. market. So it's interesting to see. Jack, Temple basketball. Come on now. Let's go. Now, they didn't hire Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley did say, I'm not interested in coaching men's basketball. So I was kind of bummed about that, Jack. I was a little bummed.
Yeah. Listen, I heard the guy they got was the Penn State assistant, Rhodes or something. Is that his name?
Adam Fisher, Temple basketball. Great job. Jack, guess where he went to high school?
I know he's a Bucks County guy. Is he a CB West guy?
He's a CB East guy, where I would have went. So, that's big time. And I'm gonna go to our trusty source here, Wikipedia, because there's nothing better than Wikipedia. I love this grind. Jameson, Pennsylvania. He played basketball at Penn State in 2006. As a coach, he was at Nova from 2007 to 2009. He was at Miami from 15 to 21. Penn State from 21 to 23, and now he's the head coach of Temple. So really not a ton of stops for a coach. 4 stops and you're a head coach, that's a good run. But here's what I like. Okay, his 1 year, he left basketball at Nova. He was a GA at Nova from 07 to 09. Then in 2010, At Boston University, he was director of basketball operations. So you have you're the coach, you're doing operations. First year at Penn State to kick the door in at Penn State, or excuse me, at 11 to 12 when he had that break between 9 and 15 at Nova in Miami. Boston, ops. Penn State, video coordinator. Penn State, director of player personnel. Miami, director of operations. Then he gets into coaching. So he's done every single role in a building, from video coordinator, director of operations. He played basketball at Penn State, and he had a ton of success while he was there. So I love that. Complete grinder. As a player, complete grinder. As a coach, you wear tons of hats. You're working, especially college. It's not the NFL. It's not the NBA. Those guys are pros. But in college, you're teaching people how to become pros. There's major growth and a tough growing pains when it comes to that. Guys missing class. Guys not going to training table. Guys showing up late for class. Guys doing things on the weekend they shouldn't be doing. Right? So you are molding men. You're molding pros. You're helping students. There's training table. There's study hall. There's hydration practice you need to get right. There's travel, and he's been involved in all of it. So I'm excited about that, Jack. I am. I'll be honest with you. And local, you got to love that. And there's nobody more in Philly, Jack, loves when Philly hires locally. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, and I think Bucks County is really starting to make a name for themselves as the college basketball coaching hotbed. I mean, between that, Jay Wright was a Bucks County guy. His brother, I think, coaches like Council Rock or something, like Council Rock South or Council Rock North.
There's definitely more of them too. If we sat down and did our research,
I know Fran Duffy is a Upper Darby, I think, so he's not Bucks, but I mean Philadelphia area.
Gino Oriema. Well, Gino
yeah.
is he may be.
He was he went to Montco briefly. I forget exactly where he.
Yeah,
was
he's in Montgomery County, I believe.
So,
talked about him on the show before.
Montgomery County just always has the best. What can I say?
I digress. Shots and Giggles, guys. I'm wearing the shirt today. Check them out. The premier bar for locals and having a great time. Quiet, quaint, fun, excited, great vibe. Right behind Sloppy Joe's on Ann Street. Can't beat it. Cannot beat the chaos of Key West. You can hide out, have a good time. You'll be sitting. 1 minute you're sitting next to a billionaire. The next minute you're sitting next to the best fisherman in town. The next minute you're sitting next to a bartender from another bar that's hanging out at Shots and Giggles because it's the best bar. Football Sundays are amazing there. They put out a full spread there. Have a couple drinks. You can help yourself to the full spread. It's a great place. It's the family bar down there. Shots and Giggles Key West. Check them out, guys, on social media and go give them a visit. Tell them we sent you here at Not From Home Media and the Colin Thompson Show. Jack, bringing back an old segment, Bus One. Our Bus One member this week on the Colin Thompson Show is none other than one of my best friends in the world, Ian Thomas, tight end for the Carolina Panthers. He had an amazing event the other night. Turned the night blue, a gala at the Carolina Panthers Stadium, Bank of America Stadium, raising money for Autism Charlotte. Autism Charlotte was founded in 2006 by 5 parents directly impacted and inspired by their own special children affected by autism. Facing many day-to-day challenges common in caring for a child with autism, these parents experience firsthand a significant lack of programs, services, and support for the community. They committed themselves to helping other families facing similar challenges, but likewise finding few answers and often feeling alone. With the support of many friends, family, community partners, the Autism Foundation of the Carolinas was established in a 501c3 that was later renamed Autism Charlotte. Unbelievable job by Ian and the team in Autism Charlotte, the Carolina Panthers, the Tepper family, supporting Ian in this event. It was first class. It was first class. Building an academy for students to go to based off an after-school program, raising tons of money. I would say hundreds of thousands of dollars in one night, in 2 hours, 3 hours max. So Bus One member this week, Ian Thomas. Check out Autism Charlotte, guys. How to check it out. We envision a community where every family navigating autism is supported with knowledge, resources, warmth, and understanding. Our mission is to embrace and empower children and families affected by autism. We value inclusion, inspiration, and impact. Again, shout out to Autism Charlotte. Check them out online, guys, to donate and support. And shout out to Ian Thomas, Carolina Panthers tight end and great man, for this amazing event. Good stuff by Ian. You liked Ian. Jack, you got to meet Ian during training camp, right?
Yeah, we met him briefly amidst, because there was just everybody had family down there during that day at camp. So we got to talked briefly. Seemed very great guy. He's spoken nothing but the best about him. So yeah, he seems like an awesome dude. Seems like an awesome event. Glad you got to meet back up with the boys.
It was great, man, to get down there with the guys and, just a quick trip, 24 hours in and out, less than that, and then get back up here to Annapolis. So it was really cool to get down there and support Ian, the least we could do. Guys, going to a ball game, baseball season. It's here, Jackie. Heading to the Masters this week. You're hitting up SeatGeek. Promo code Colin Thompson. $20 off your tickets, $50 or more. Promo code Colin Thompson, COLINTHOMPSON. Your $20 off your tickets. Love it, Jack. Going to a Phillies game, Nats game, all these different games. Pop that promo code in. Check.
I think you're also forgetting the most important event that I haven't heard people stop talking about that you could use that for. Taylor Swift concert. Those tickets are. I am not a Swift. I have nothing against Taylor Swift. My thing I've said before, and I'm probably going to get shelled for this. She seems like a great artist. I don't understand why she is so much more massively popular than any other artist in the world. Like, because she is phenomenal.
She can touch every single thing, right? Because you understand, where we're growing up, every single fan base, every single group, men, women, children. She was a country singer to start, right? So she got that avenue and was one of the best people in country, won a ton of awards with that. Younger years, when I was in high school, 2010, 11, 12, that era. Then she changes a little bit and becomes more popular. Then she becomes a big pop culture thing. So she's been growing. She's been doing this thing for a while now. Probably 20 years she's been moving up through it, 15 years. So that's why, Jack. That's why it's sold out. Plus she's super talented. So
I want you to guess at the link. So it says Sunday, May 14th. The cheapest non-limited view seat at the link for Taylor Swift. How much do you think it is?
$500.
$1,200.
Oh, when do those tickets go on sale though?
I want to say like probably 2-3 weeks ago.
Huh. Well, they'll come.
But
down.
I mean, I saw at one point, because you were looking around the other night. I was like, I couldn't believe it. The cheapest parking ticket was like $400.
Well, listen, folks, you want the secret? I give you the secret. Go over to Chickies, not a sponsor of the show. Have a good time at Chickies and Pete's and take the crab bus over. Have a great time. That's a park for free at Chickies and then eat a meal and then take the crab bus, baby. It's a good time.
There you go.
Jack, we're throwing some people under the bus. We had bus one. Now we're throwing people under the bus. NCAA TV, 3:30 for a national championship game, the Women's March Madness national championship game between LSU and Iowa. Congrats to LSU on winning the national title. Their coach, Kim Mulkey, is a stud. Her son was a stud baseball player at LSU, and she was a great player herself. She's a stud. She faced some titan of players, and Caitlin Clark, coaches and teams, and Dawn Staley. I mean, they did it. I mean, they did it. Now I'm impressive. Now I know LSU was on the other side of the bracket, but still, Iowa took out down South Carolina. Excuse me, but under the bus this week, NCAA TV people. Whoever's responsible for a 3:30 national championship game, that is ridiculous. So 12:30 Pacific time, people are watching a national championship. Now, I think the men's game is a little egregious, 9+ o'clock. That's ridiculous. Should be 8, no later than 8:30. But 3:30 on a Sunday, there's nothing else going on. You have nothing to compete with. The Masters are next weekend. You have a tremendous window to put that game at 6:30, 7:30, 8 o'clock. The average price for a seat at the men's Final Four, which features Saturday's matchup between Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Miami, and UConn. Now, that was before, right? This is an article from Saturday. $234. The ticket price is nearly $100 less than the women's game. Now, it is at NRG Stadium, which is a 70,000 seat stadium. The women's game's at a 20,000 seat stadium in Dallas. But still, there is a massive viewership numbers. Let's see. Record audience, 2.49 million for the Elite Eight game between Louisville and whoever that was. I can't see it. But, I mean, that you have an opportunity here with the star power of LSU, the star power of Iowa, especially with Caitlin Clark, to max things out for you viewership-wise, and they dropped the ball. We missed the game. We're running around taking care of things. 3:30 for a national championship game. The whole season long, they've been grinding, and you're going to have the game. They get through March Madness, most grueling time as a player, as a coach. Not good. Not good. They dropped the ball that, Jack. They're under the bus for me, pal.
What are your thoughts on the whole taunting thing. I think it's getting way over. I thought it was completely fine. I was
I
curious
thought
to hear what you
Emmanuel
thought.
Acho did a great job breaking that down because right away everyone's like, "Ah, I'm getting texts from people. Thank God she's not on my team anymore, blah, blah, and referring to some Maryland fans. And I'm like, did you see they both did it? It's called trash talk. I get it. There's kids watching. I understand that. But this is hyper intense. Like people idolize Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Like, what do you think they did? You can't have rules for guys and girls or whatever it is. The player from Iowa did it. Great. We all loved her and thought it was a great story and she's a baller. But then the girl from LSU does it and it's a problem. So I think they both did it. It's no harm, no foul. They didn't touch anybody. They waved in each other's face that you can't guard me. And she pointed at a ring. Nobody died. Can we all calm down? It's good competitive juice. It's something to talk about. It's fun. If there's a fight and it was egregious and she was up in her face and there's bloody noses, that's a different conversation. But that did not happen. So,
And I think,
what are
I
your
mean,
thoughts,
like,
Jack?
I mean, obviously, one of my favorite parts about basketball is when it gets not necessarily physically chippy, but like mentally chippy when they're jawing back and forth. One of my favorite games in recent memory, it wasn't really that great of a game, but it was when Kevin Durant went back to Oklahoma City with his first game, Golden State. That was one of the most hostile, chirping games I've seen in quite some time. Just Russell Westbrook jawing at him from half court while he's walking back to the timeout circle, the entire arena chanting cupcake at KD. It was also a pretty solid game. I think Oklahoma City lost that one anyways at Golden State because that was just the Hamptons 5 for the same. But that was such an entertaining game to watch just from a trash talking perspective. And like you said, nobody got hurt from it. I think it was either that game or the next one, like Sean Livingston, I think, got on KD's face and there's like a little shoving match. But that was like the most. Like there was no physicalness to it at all.
I think we have an issue in this world, obviously, with racism, sexism. What's the difference between a girl doing it from Iowa and a girl doing it from LSU? What's the difference between if a guy does it and you say he's being incompetitive and you see a girl doing a game and you say she's being immature and not a good sport? That's straight up fact. And the LSU gal after the game, she said the same thing. Angel Reese. So to me, it's all good. Great game, great product in women's college basketball, especially March Madness. But why would you have the game at 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon when nothing else is going on? Nothing else is going on. You lost millions of viewers. Millions. I couldn't wait to pop the game on. I thought it was like 6 o'clock. We popped the game. We're popping the TV on at like 5 something for a pregame show. Nothing. So disappointed on my end, to say the least. Really excited for Adam Schefter to join us coming up here in a little bit. Guys, Som Sleep, promo code Colin, COLIN. The best sleep product in the world. Get Som Sleep. Natural products, magnesium. Put you down, get you back up, and you rise and you kick ass the next day. Som Sleep. Get Som Sleep. Bar of the week this week on the Colin Thompson Show is The Friend in Los Angeles, California. Shout out to Jimmy Hurley, Westchester football, St. Joe's Prep football legend. Absolute legend. Also, I'm going to touch back on this again because I need to give Jimmy his proper shout out here. Let's see. I read an article last night. Let's go back. CYO football champs. Shout out to the Romans. Back in the day, we played Jimmy Hurley. Let's see. St. Catherine football. I got to go back. So the bar of the week this week is The Friend in Los Angeles, California. Shout out to Jimmy Hurley, Westchester football legend, St. Joe's Prep football legend, St. Catherine's football legend. Shout out to your CYO champions, Mount Carmel Romans, who beat the great Jimmy Hurley, the best youth football player of all time in 2006.
I have a quick question. Can I interrupt? When you say St. Catherine's, do you mean St. Catherine's of Siena? Am I hearing that right, or is it a different St. Catherine's?
I don't know, Jack.
Look, a little known fact about me. That's where I started my education at was St. Catherine's, and I never knew we had a CYO team. So I was trying to figure out if that was a correct fact or not, real quick. But I'll let you continue on your story.
The Friend, shout out. Absolutely loved it there. The staff is amazing. The people are just awesome. It is a cocktail bar kind of off the beaten path in LA. Was able to get there in the off season and hang out. Great drinks, great vibe. It's like a casual cocktail bar that turns into like all of a sudden they have a band going or they have a DJ going out of nowhere. It's great. And the place is packed and it's wall to wall. Snap of your fingers. The place is great. So if you're looking for a little different place in LA with fresh cocktails, good spirits, awesome service, check it out. The Friend. Food and ambiance, 5. Cold beer and good drinks, 5. Service, 5. TVs, 4. There wasn't any. So we'll get TVs at 3. Excuse me. If you don't have any TVs, that's fine. Automatically at 3, which is fine. I get it. It's a cocktail bar, but it's part of the grading scale. So 18 out of 20 for The Friend, the bar of the week on the Colin Thompson Show. Shout out to our friends Actions Over Words Apparel. They are donating a portion of their proceeds to the charity of their choice. So when you support them and you buy their awesome, high-quality clothing, they're donating a large part of what you pay to the charity of their choice. Check out their charities, actionsoverwordsapparel.com. All right, Jackie, anything from you? I know this. I'm excited to have Adam on, and you brought it up before. When Adam tweeted, you could tell that story. I know you enjoy that one.
Yeah, this was the time Colin and I have known each other for multiple years before this, but it was during around COVID, and I hadn't been talking to Colin much around that time, and it's weird. One of those stories we remember exactly where I don't know why I remember this exact spot. I was in my driveway. I was like putting away my trash or something. I get the Schefter notification pop up, and it says like Colin Thompson signed a 1-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. And I did like an up and down. I'm like, that Colin? And I think I literally did like a search tweet on like Twitter to see like who else was talking about to make sure it was that Colin. And I text you. I was like, freak out. I'm sure you got like 55,000 because I'm sure you don't remember exactly mine, but it was just a very wild story. It was the first time you kind of made it big in my eyes.
I made it big in my eyes too when Adam tweeted that. What happened was I didn't make the team at a training camp. They wanted to let it go through a process of cutting players to put some guys on injured reserve, and then they were going to sign me back. And they thought I would clear waivers, which I did. And then I signed back with the team to the active roster like 48 hours later. So it was like a quiet period in the NFL. And that allowed us, Adam needed something to tweet. So he threw me a bone. I didn't even know him at the time, but it was big time. Everyone's like, who the hell's this guy? So I love that. That was great. And I'm excited to have Adam on. He's been a great friend of the show, super guy, mentor, text you back right away. So guys, I hope you have a great week. Masters is on. This is my favorite time of year. Sports talked about it last year on the show. The Masters, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, which is the best playoffs in the world. National championships tonight. Hope everyone has an awesome, awesome Easter weekend. Thanks for your support of our show and all of our shows here at Not For Long Media. Check them out, guys. 2 Girls, 1 League, Breaking Bats. Geez. What am I missing, Jack? Our show.
Say 2 Girls, 1 League?
2 Girls, 1 League, Breaking Bats, Colin Thompson Show.
Geez, Sam Boner Show.
Sam Boner Show, and Showtime Speaks. So 6 shows. Again, thank you for all your support here, Not For Long Media, and I hope you guys enjoy the Adam Schefter interview. All right, the great Adam Schefter's joining us. Adam, how you doing, brother?
Fighting off a cold, sick all weekend, but we're braving through. We got to play hurt, right?
Got to play hurt. You were grinding. You're taking calls, all the above. I listened to your episode. For those that have not listened to Adam's podcast, check it out, especially this last episode with Foster Moreau battling cancer, and an amazing story that happened on the way to the owners' meetings in Arizona. Can you go into that a little bit? That is just amazing.
Well, we were doing this podcast with Foster Moreau, who was inspirational in his own way. Like, he was incredible to listen to. And we were flying out. I was flying out Sunday morning. And we flew out. We were about 25 minutes in the air, and they announced that there was a medical situation. They were paging doctors, and they turned the plane around. Now, I don't know if I've ever been on a plane with all the trips I've taken where the plane turned around midair and headed back to Newark. And it was a violent landing. And I'm like, whoa, like it almost felt like a crash landing. And that was because I didn't realize that somebody pointed out, they're like, yeah, you have a full fuel tank, and there's so much fuel on the plane that it makes for a very disruptive landing. And so we landed, and turned out, there was a standing ovation. They asked for doctors. There was a baby who had a failed heart valve, and the flight attendant, and this is to the best of my knowledge, gave the baby CPR, brought the baby back to life. There was a pediatric cardiologist from Columbia Presbyterian on board. He wanted the plane turned around, so we flew back to Newark. The flight attendant that gave the CPR was too emotional to continue on, so they had to get a whole new crew. So it was like a 5-hour delay, but fortunately, the baby survived, and that was the most important thing, and got to live.
Unbelievable story. And you had Foster on before, which is another unbelievable story. He was just fantastic, open, positive. What were your thoughts on having him on?
I was thrilled to get him. I was honored to get him. And his story was incredible. Like, what a guy that is. I didn't know him before then. I don't know if your paths have crossed him, Colin, or not, but he's an impressive guy. And I'm really rooting for that guy. He's a great guy.
I've heard amazing things about him at his time with LSU from guys I've played with, like unbelievable, like tough and smart, and like just like he's an old school tight end too. Like in this league, right? Everyone's lauded these pass catching guys, and I get it, but he's an old school guy, and I wish him nothing but the best. I know he'll land back.
Yeah.
Okay. I always try to talk off the cuff with you and talk about different things that are fun. The president's meetings. How were the accommodations? How were the meals? Did you get to have any fun, or were you working the whole time? Not the presidents, the owners.
Yeah. You know, I've had a thing here, and I appreciate the different line of questioning. I had a migraine. So I had a migraine for like 2 days out there. So it was just brutal. So I feel like I've been, I had a migraine that very debilitating for a couple of days. And then you get well, and I come home and I got this cold here. So I feel like, I don't know what's going on, but it's been like 8 days of just fighting different things. So
you're just an absolute warrior.
No, I don't know about that. I think I'm an absolute, baby about this stuff, but not very tough. But it's been a rough 8-day stretch here.
Now,
that's the way it goes.
Last time you were on, the dog went missing. Did we find the dog?
Dogs are all here. Yeah, Colin, it's just a day in the life, right? Like, just things happen, things go wrong. I won't be surprised during this podcast if, wife is calling out that, she needs my help for something. Like, it's always so. It's life. We all go through our own battles and trials and tribulations.
I know you're a very busy man, especially with the phone always blowing up, but it's not always from teams. You get back to people right away. That's what I've told some people. I'm like, Adam, of course, is getting his phone blown up by teams, and that's his job. But have you got some other texts? Like, is there somebody who's texted you over the years? Like, holy cow, so-and-so just texted me. That's not in football. Like, while you're working a game? Because I text you like, "Hey, great job on the broadcast tonight," and you get right back to me right away.
There have been a few. I've gotten calls at various points from people. Like, there was one time. It was a Saturday morning. It was Bristol. We're getting ready to do a playoff pregame show. Phone rings. It was a 714 area code. 714 Orange County or 704 Orange County?
I don't know.
My phone's going nuts here. I've already missed 3 calls here. 714 or 704?
Definitely 714. If you got to take it, take it.
Hold on one second. I got. Yeah, hold on a second.
You're good. I can edit it all out.
No.
714 area code is Anaheim. Yep.
There you go. There it is. So it was 714. I look down. I pick up the phone. I'm like, what's this? Because you never know what you're gonna get. And they go, Adam. I said, yeah, this is Reggie Jackson. I'm like, Reggie Jackson, like my boyhood idol, the guy that I watched every pitch of every game, Reggie bars, World Series, straw that stirs the drink, Reggie, like that Reggie Jackson. He's like, yeah. And he was calling to discuss his friend Mike Singletary and his coaching prospects. And I was like blown away. Like, I was thinking to myself, if you had told 5th grade Adam Schefter that Reggie Jackson would one day be calling him at work, like, my mind would be blown. So, that one stands out to me. I'm a regular correspondent. There's nobody, including my wife, nobody who texts me more than Mike Trout.
Really?
Yeah.
Why so?
He's fascinated about 2 things, the Eagles and fantasy football. So he's always asking, like, he was really, I don't understand why, but he was really invested in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Like, he really wanted Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to be back in Philadelphia. That's his favorite defensive player. He loved him.
Well, I mean, that's like everyone's trying to replicate Brian Dawkins, which is physically impossible.
You know, he's at the World Baseball Classic. He's like in between pitches with Shohei Ohtani, however you pronounce his name. And he's texting me, you know, for Eagles information.
Maybe that's why he struck out. I'm kidding. That poor guy got
Maybe.
crucified. The poor guy's getting crucified. He's like struck out like 3 times in his life. Whatever.
We love Mike. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Put him on my podcast. You know, the funny thing is I've got him on a podcast when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. I'm like, we'd never spoken on the phone, but we had exchanged hundreds of texts, hundreds. And so it was very weird, like, you know, to sit and talk with him the way I'm talking with you. I'm like, Mike.
I'm Adam. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, very funny. We actually planned a couple of times. I was going to go see him play baseball in New York, but he got hurt or was out or whatever, and schedule didn't work, and COVID and this and that, and just never kind of happened. So it was nice to finally get to meet him on the podcast.
A new golf course going in for him too. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Running around. He's opening a new golf course. Michael Jordan and him together down in South Jersey.
Yeah, I heard about that. Somebody mentioned that to me. Yeah.
Where he's from.
Yeah.
Have you been able to catch any of the March Madness, men's or women's?
Funny you asked that. I watched the very first game of the tournament on Saturday night when I was sick. I was like laid up on the couch. I'm having soup, drinking tea. And the first game of the tournament that I watched was it was San Diego State versus Miami, right? They beat Miami?
What, the Elite Eight or the
Final Four?
Yeah, Final Four. Yes, it's 2 nights ago.
The first game Saturday night.
Yes, I believe so.
The one where Butler sank the jumper at the end?
Where he was like dribble. He was like, it looked like he was starting to panic a little bit, and then he sunk it.
That was the first game of the tournament that I watched. It was unbelievable. And and by the way, like I couldn't really care much about these teams. Like I have no emotional, and I was riveted watching them. It was, which was kind of cool. I appreciated that I got as into it as I did, as quickly as I did. And that when the guy sank the jumper, I was like, wow.
Yeah. That was an unbelievable shot. He was like pounding the ball into the floor in the corner. I'm like, this is not going to go well.
See, and I watched those students see another little known fact, and you're getting all the good stuff here, Colin, but
I love it.
34 years ago today, 34-year anniversary of my school winning the national championship in basketball during my senior year, and me and my college buddies were all there in Seattle to watch Michigan beat Seton Hall in overtime, literally weeks before we graduated. And I actually thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I should put next year for the 35th anniversary. I just don't know that anybody would care except us, but I should have the people that made that trip on a podcast together and talk about what you thought life would be like and what life actually is and how things have changed in 35 years and what you remember about that. I don't know that there has to be a way to make that work somehow.
Good thing it's your show with your name on it.
Yeah, I know, but who's going to listen to that? I just don't know.
I bet you people listen to it because people do like new things. I don't know.
It'd be different and something that I just don't think a lot of people would care about. I would care about it tremendously. I just think it's kind of like in a Big Chill kind of way. It's like it's a modern day Big Chill, which Big Chill is based on Michigan friends coming together after the death of a friend. So like we would do 35 years after, it would be like a Big Chill podcast 35 years later.
What do you remember from that night 34 years ago? Great
question. Colin, you're on your P's and Q's here today. What I remember about that? Basically, a lot of things. As one of my college friends texted today, we were in a group text, and he texted, and I could just read it because it's the best description of it. That he said, those 3 to 4 weeks have to rank among the top 3 stretches of time in my life. And I responded, no argument here. And that's exactly right. I mean, to watch literally, like I said, weeks before you graduate, your school go on an unexpected run. We went to the Sweet 16 in Lexington, Kentucky. We went to the Final Four in Seattle, Washington. We watched our school beat in order North Carolina, Virginia, Illinois, Seton Hall. Still remember it. Remember the players. Remember the hotel. remember the craziness. Remember the Saturday night after we beat Illinois in a game in which there were 33 lead changes, going out with my friends to a place in downtown Seattle called Talaki, which is now closed. It was one of the great nights of my life. What's that?
A good time at the Talaki, whatever.
Not a good time. An unbelievable time. An all-time night.
They're the best. Okay, so I have to ask you the one football question, and as a friend of the show, what do you think about the Niners trading for Christian McCaffrey? We haven't talked about it. I know obviously it panned out well, but you know Christian very well. You know Christian's father very well.
You didn't mention his mother, who happened to text me that Wednesday, and I've known his family since Christian was a little boy at training camp, and I covered his dad when he was a wide receiver in Denver, not to age myself, though I did that with the Michigan basketball team. And Lisa McCaffrey called me. She's like, I'm thinking about going to Charlotte this weekend. What do you think? And I said, do not go. And she goes, I haven't booked the tickets yet. She goes, I said, yeah, don't book them. I'm like, she's like, really? I'm like, don't book the tickets. He's going to get traded. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. So McCaffrey family owes me money for saved plane tickets for me telling them not to book the tickets.
Invoice him, Adam.
Yeah.
Invoice him. Coming for you, Christian. He's invoicing you personally.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
That's great.
I remember, that whole thing. That was a pretty wild week.
Week. Baker right after too. Coach Rules right before that. It was very interesting. But Christian's a freaking awesome man and someone I got close with, and we were able to talk through some things throughout that. It was just unique to be a part of.
Great guy, great family, cares, and pretty neat, the whole thing.
All right, who's going to be the first pick? No, I'm kidding, Adam. I'm kidding.
I believe. I said this before. If I were picking today, my guess is Bryce Young. That's my guess. I'm not reporting he's going to be the first pick. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm not with Carolina. I'm a free agent. So I can speak a little bit freer. I think it's him, right? It's got to be. I mean,
well, he doesn't have the height that Frank Reich would like. He doesn't have the height, but he's got the instincts. He's got the playmaking ability. He's got the intel. He's got everything.
That guy, cool, calm, and collected. When he came back against Texas, I was like, who is this cat?
Yeah. And CJ Stroud's a great quarterback, and I think he'll wind up going number 2. So that's the way it goes. But if you're asking me today, and I said it before, I think Bryce Young, I think he'll wind up going number 1.
What do you think about the kid from Tennessee? I know he's got the ACL, but I just
Hendon Hooker. He's a really good quarterback. A lot of intangibles, like him. I don't know where he's going to go just yet. I'm not there.
I could see somebody trading up for him. That's comfy.
Yeah, well, quarterbacks are if you like the guy and believe in the guy, you go get him. If that means trading up or whatever it is.
We got the hard stop, Adam. Any plans? Any vacations planned coming up for you? Anything a breather, a breath of fresh air?
Yeah, I'm planning in a few weeks to go to Kansas City for 5 days. Leave for Kansas City on Tuesday, April 24th, I believe it is. We'll be in Kansas City Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then after the draft concludes on Saturday night, we'll fly back to New York on Sunday morning.
Is that like a barbecue trip? What's the plan there?
NFL draft.
Oh, that's a fine on me. I didn't know it was in Kansas City this year. That's a vacation.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. That's going to be
not many vacations, Colin. Those don't really. It is just the way my world operates. Too many kids and dogs and responsibilities to take care of things. One day there'll be time for vacation.
Yes, there will. The great Adam Schefter.
Maybe the McCaffreys can send me with the money that I saved them.
The $800.58.
Whatever it is, we'll take it.
Well, maybe they were flying Spirit. No disrespect, Spirit. No disrespect.
You never know. You never know.
Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate your time as always.
Colin, my pleasure. Hope all is well. Be well.
You too, my friend.
Great questions today.
Thank you. I learned from you. Check out the Foster Moreau interview, guys. Freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Killer. Great Adam Schefter. Thanks for joining the show, my friend.
Thank you, Colin. Take care, my friend.